Okay. Bye.
Illusion metodram Rirablishin inde gempati Sange shingdu mikte ulwargi Drokum namdam shingla shuparshok Idam guru ratnam mandala kamiriata jami Shedang soki chonamla Janshu vardu daki kapsuchi Daki jinso kipe sonam ki Drola penchir sange truparsho Sange shedang soki chonamla Jangshu Vardu Dakni Kapsuchi Daki Jinso Kipe Sonam Ki Trola Penchir Sange Trupar Shok Sange Chodan Soki Chonamla Janshu Vardu Dakni Kapsuchi Daki Jinso Gipei Sonamki Drola Penchir Sange Druparsho.
Yay. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so as I stated earlier, if you weren't here, we'll be having the quiz in 22 minutes because I have a meeting, and then we'll start class again. So we're going to start class 8. So class 8, the Lojong Geshe, Holy Geshe Michael picked was the Wheel of Knives, which is an extremely famous Lojong, especially in Guadalajara. Why is it so famous in Guadalajara? Because Seiji is translating this book. Okay, so yeah, good job, Aldoria. Yeah. So Seiji Araro Takahashi, is that how you say his name? Something like that. He's translating this famous book, or a notes on a commentary of it from the 19th century, like about 200 years ago, if I remember right. So it's extremely famous, and actually the story from this book comes from a sutra. If I say it comes from a sutra, who spoke it? Who's the teacher?
Buddha.
Yeah. Aldo, you can't answer all the questions. You're like me in Geshe's class. Geshe bars me from answering questions. It's very frustrating, especially when you know it. Sorry, Aldo. So yes, Martha was completely right. Generally, not always, if a book has the word sutra in it, it means it was spoken by Lord Buddha. There are exceptions. Sutra can also just mean a short book. Okay. Okay, so in Tibetan, this book is called Suncha Korlo. Say Suncha Korlo. Suncha means like knives or daggers or little blades or something like that. Sometimes you hear it translated as like weapons. Geshe prefers knives. Korlo is the same as Korwa. What's Korwa? Korwa.
Círculo.
Círculo de qué?
Dharma.
No.
Karma.
Opuesta. Sufriendo. When you say korwa in Buddhism, it refers to the cycle of suffering life. Okay? So it's the same thing, just a circle. But you're right if you just say circle too. Thank you. Okay. So the Wheel of Knives is literally a wheel of knives. It's a kind of like magical object that comes from karma and your projections that sits on your head and circles and like cuts you perpetually. So the story, I guess I'll tell this story. I'll tell an abbreviated version because it's a long story. The story is in another book we're translating with Geshe Michael. Our translator, Tang Tang, from China, is translating it along with others. And it is called the Karma Vibhanga. And that book, karma means karma, you know that word. Vibhanga means all the different kinds. So it's a book that tells you, it's a whole book of correlations. It's just like hundreds and hundreds of correlations. So this lojong is actually famous for containing, I think it has 38 correlations. Why is the correlations in this lojong so famous for our group? Because these are the correlations Geshe Michael used in the diamond, his commentary on the Diamond Cutter. You know that book, The Diamond Cutter by Geshe Michael Roach? The correlations he puts in, like problems in business, are from this text. Okay, so if you read that book, some of this might be familiar to you. Okay, so this lojong was should I tell the story of? Not yet. I'll tell you soon. The story, I'll tell you the lineage first. So it was spoken first by Lord Buddha. And then from there, I don't know exactly the transmission. I'm not sure if Geshe, I didn't hear mention it in class. But oh, by the way, for some reason, the class recording is only 35 minutes for this class. I think part of the class didn't get recorded or something. So thankfully, I have a very good transmission of this book because of Seiji and Tang Tang's work. Okay, so anyway, Dharmarakshita was a famous lama, and he was one of the lamas of Lord Atisha. Atisha had many lamas, many. Famously, he had, I think, 12 or 13 lamas before he even went to the monastery. And he studied the secret teachings before he even studied sutra, because his karma was amazing. But anyway, Dhammarakshita, Lord Atisha was on his way to Tibet. And I believe the story goes, he requested that Dhammarakshita give him a teaching that he could easily transmit to people who had never really heard the Dharma before. Because as you are probably aware, the Dharma can get extremely deep, and the philosophy behind it can be extremely complicated at times. Not that the concepts are necessarily complicated, but I think they're so far into the way that people usually think that they're difficult to grasp, right? In any case, he asked one of his teachers to please give him a teaching based on love that could help them easily with less effort, you know, as far as conceptually, I suppose. So I don't know Dhammarakshita's years, but obviously he's a contemporary of Lord Atisha because he was his teacher, right? So, you know, I believe Lord Atisha was in his 40s when he went to Tibet. So I guess this transmission is in sometime in like the 1020s or 1030s. I don't know exactly. So that's about the time Dharma Rakshita was around. And Lord Atisha, who is very famous for transmitting the Dharma from India into Tibet, which basically became our lineage sometime later, like about 300 years later, okay? Maybe closer to 400. Was an extremely adept scholar and practitioner. And I believe he was the abbot of, there's an argument about it, but it's either Nalanda Monastery or the other one, the other famous monastery at the time, Vikramasala, pronunciation. But in any case, he was extremely adept. And for him to come to Tibet was a big deal because he was basically like, I don't know, he's like Geshe Michael in the United States. So that would be like Geshe Michael moving to a small country from the United States now. Like, I don't know, like Uruguay or something, you know, it's a small country with not many people, but they were desperate. I think they tried to bribe Lord Atisha with gold and all these things, which Lord Atisha, I doubt could care. He could care less about, but he ended up going. And the whole story is in the Lam Rim by Pabonka Rinpoche that Geshe Michael is teaching in those Lam Rim retreats, most of which are, or all of which are online. I don't know about the recent ones. Anyway, okay. So the Wheel of Knives is a phrase that represents the idea that if you do something to someone else, you get the same consequences back on yourself. So I like to think of it like as a boomerang or something. ¿Cómo se dice boomerang en español? Boomerang?
Boomerang.
Yeah. I figured. Yeah, I guess it's a Aboriginal word from Australia. Anyway, it basically what you do comes back to you. And anything you ever done anything you've ever done that's bad will come back to you, and anything that you have is something that is coming back to you from something you've done. And so this is the basic concept behind samsara, right? This is the two husbands. Yelling at, okay, I need this teaching right now. Yelling back at someone for yelling at you is the thing that would create more yelling. And if you yell back at them when they yell back, when you get that karma back, then that will create more yelling and there will be a cycle, right? Yeah, and so that's the idea. So you can think of it like a razor tip boomerang, actions that backfire on us, like blowing off your own toes, like shooting yourself in the foot, we say in English, digging your own grave. These are all common phrases. A blacksmith making a sword who slips and stabs himself to death with it, an archer who accidentally falls on his own arrow and dies. You know, these aren't pleasant metaphors, but this is how it works. So I don't think, let me see. Okay, let me tell the story now. So basically, the original story of the Wheel of Knives is like this. There was a man in a long, long ago in a land far, far away. Okay, not Luke Skywalker, but and his name was Yajna Mitra, which means like Mr. Loverboy or something, loving guy or something like that. I think Yajna actually means offerings, and then Maitri, as Aldo put in the chat, means like friend. It's the same as Maitreya, friendly one or loving one or something like that. Anyway, he lived in a land which was famous for its sailors, and his father was a famous sailor and had gone around to places and, you know, found many treasures and had brought them home, and then had made his family rich. But on one of his trips, his father had died and he never returned, right? So basically the boy came of age and he reached a time where him and his friends all wanted to find their fortune, right? Go on this type of sailing journey. And he told his mother he wants to go. And his mother's like, please, no, don't go. We're rich enough. Already lost your father. Don't go. And he was like, okay, mom, I won't go. And then some time passed, and his friends started bothering him again and like telling him, come on, let's go. We got to find our fortune. Your father was a great man. Like, you'll be a great sailor too. Let's go. And so the guy asked his mother again, can I please go? And she said, no, no, please don't go, son. You have everything. I don't want you to die too, blah, blah, blah. And um, and so the boy's like, okay, I won't go. And so that repeats itself. I think 3 times he obeyed his mom. He's like, okay, I won't go. And then one day, finally, his friends are like, they all meet in some like, garden. And they're like, come on, man, we have to do this. This is it. Life's gonna pass us by. We have to go. And he's like, okay. And so he confronts his mom. He's like, mom, I'm going. And his mom's like, no, please don't go. And like, he's like holding his leg and like, no. And apparently he kind of like steps on her as he like walks out the door. It's a really sad part of the story. And he just leaves. He's just like, I'm out. And him and his friends, in the book, they say they take the 8 precepts. So they take like a 1-day vow before their trip. I guess as a blessing or what have you. And they all embark on this journey. I think there was 500 of them, according, if I remember the book correctly. Anyway, so they all get in the boat and they are just sailing off onto the ocean. And a huge storm comes and completely destroys the ship and kills everyone on board except our hero, Yashni Maitri. And so he's literally like drifting on like a, like, what do you call that? Flotsam, like pieces of wood in the ocean. Like all his friends are dead, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna die." And the current carries him to some island or some land, and he's like, "Oh, I'm saved." And he starts wandering around. There's like a jungle close to the beach or whatever, and he starts wandering around. And how's it go exactly? Let me see. I'm pretty sure 32 really beautiful women come out of the forest. They're like, come with us, Jasni Maitri. And and so they come with him and they bring him to like a castle made of, okay, sorry if I butcher some of the details, but I'm pretty sure I got it. A castle made of gold. And he goes in there and the book says, okay, I'm not making this up. Him and the ladies have fun for like eons or something. Okay, it doesn't say what they do. Whatever is fun to do with ladies, I guess. And so that goes on for like eons or something. And then, but they tell him, Yasni Maitri, never go wandering in the forest, or you won't be able to find your way back. And he's like, okay. And I guess after eons of fun, he's like, oh, what's in the jungle? And he goes out and he loses his way. And then he's stumbling about, and 16 ladies see him. They're like, different ladies, okay? And they're like, come with us. He's like, okay. Those 32 worked out. And then they take him to a castle of silver. And okay, so it's a pattern, okay? The fun, the eons, okay. And then they tell him, don't go out in the forest, you'll lose yourself. He's like, okay. And then he does, and he gets lost. And then 8 ladies find him, okay? And same thing, fun, same thing. Don't go in the forest, same thing. He goes in the forest. Oh yeah, and that castle's made of crystal, okay? And then, so then he's wandering the 3rd time, and he wanders about, and he sees a castle made of iron. That's quite ominous, okay? So he like wanders in there. He's like, I don't know, maybe there's ladies in here. And so he like walks in, and as he walks in, the doors to the castle go boom and shut. And he's like, uh-oh. It's kind of like one of those like Scooby-Doo moments, okay? He's like, he's like, Raggy? And so he walks in, and out comes this man. And he comes out, and it's just, he looks like he's in horrible pain, and he walks out, and he has this blade of knives over his head, and they're just cutting him, and blood is dripping down. And he's like, oh my God, what the hell? And the man says, I got 3 minutes to tell you the story, and then you're gonna take your quiz. The man says, he's like, Yaji Maitri's like, what happened to you? What's going on? He's like, well, I was born in this town with full of sailors. I asked my mom 3 times if I could leave. She said no. The 4th time I just left, and me and my friends got on the boat, and I crashed, and we washed up here. I met these ladies. I met these other ladies. I met these other ladies. And then I ended up here. And this crown of knives descended on my head. And just yesterday, a voice said, hey, your time with this horrible pain of these knives cutting into you for eons is going to be over. Someone else is going to take over your job. And he's like, then you came. And and Najee Maitri realized, wait, I didn't listen to my mom 3 times and then I listened to my mom 3 times and listened to the 4th time, went on a trip, got stuck on this island, met ladies 3 times, and now I'm here. He's like, uh-oh, I'm that dude. And so the crown of knives lifts off of the dude's head, and he, after eons of being in pain, he dies. And then the crown goes over and then lands on his head. And just as it's landing on his head, he says, okay, I got a minute. He says something like, sorry if I butcher this, I haven't reviewed it in a while. He says, well, he says, I'm sorry to my mom, may she have no like pain, and at that moment he gets bodhicitta, and he says, may all the pain of the world come on me. He's like, I might as well take it all now, because my life's gonna be a living hell. Oh, actually, before he does that, he asked the guy, how did you survive for eons if you had no food in this castle? He's like, oh, I survived off my own blood as it dripped into my mouth. That's how I survived. Yeah, I know, it's horrible. And that was, and he's like, this is a called there's like hell realms that are big, but there's hell realms that are just like a small hell. And that's what it was. And because Janaji Maitri had bodhicitta at the moment before the crown of knives descended on him, he did have the crown of knives for a while, but it didn't last that long. It didn't last eons, and he finally died. But the moral of the story was, for each time he listened to his mom, he got a good outcome. And for the time that he didn't, he went to hell. So I don't know if it's literal, but you might want to think about some things. Okay, we're doing a quiz, and I gotta make a call. That's the Wheel of Knives. Here's the quiz. All right. Okay. Good luck. Bye. Everybody done? So wait, should I say acabaste or terminaste? Marta, you tell me.
Según es lo mismo, ¿ya terminaste o ya acabaste? Creo que terminaste.
Yeah. So ya terminaste?
¿Ya terminaste? Sí.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I'm trying to keep my Spanish alive here. All right. Let's begin. Okay, the quiz wasn't too bad, right? I took it earlier. All right, here we go. So now we're going to just go over some key concepts from the Wheel of Knives. I don't know how many verses are in the book, but we're doing it with Seiji. I've seen all of his classes. I've been at all of them, except maybe one or something. They're amazing. I love his book. And his book's really fun for me because Geshe Michael, I have a joke, okay? Just Geshe Michael either is really confident in me in the book he gave me or he hates me. Because my book is really hard. It's on the Mind Only School, which we'll be doing in course 15 starting next Monday. So if you want to be horribly confused and have a headache and finish your ACI courses, then come to course 15. There'll be some advertisements out on Instagram and stuff shortly with a schedule. Anyway, Seiji's book is a lecture that was written down by the Lama's student who transmitted the lecture. And due to that fact, it's a little easier to read. Actually, it's more conversational. I mean, some of it I still can't read, but it's really nice after studying Tibetan for like 10 years to be able to read something. So, but that book is more like a Lam Rim. It's a Lojong / Lam Rim. It's like a Lama just like telling you like, hey, by the way, be cool, man, you know, because he knows you and he looks at you like, yeah, you. And you're supposed to be like, oh yeah, sorry about that, you know? So it's an amazing book. It's really, really fun read. And I recommend buying it when it comes out. And I'm sure you can probably get copies of it to look at if you know English or Tibetan. Okay. Peacocks wander in a forest of poison trees. Okay, so this is a very famous metaphor about bodhisattvas. So in Tibet, maybe India too, I don't know, but I know it more from the Tibetan tradition, but I guess it has to be from India because Dhammarakshita was from India. So we'll just say in Buddhism, peacocks are considered beings that eat poison, okay? And they eat food that no other animals, if they would eat it, they would die. And so it's a metaphor for a bodhisattva who I don't know, goes to some hard barrio to like an addiction center and teaches people the pen and about Dharma. I don't know any bodhisattvas like that, do you? Okay, I met one. But stuff like that, instead of just, you know, I don't know if you know this, these lamas, like Geshe Michael, I don't know if there's any lama like Geshe Michael, but Geshe Michael's a mega genius, okay? Like beyond. When he was like 17, Richard Nixon gave him a medal for being like the best student, one of like the best students in the whole country, okay? The president of the United States, maybe not the most fun president, but a president. And they flew him all the way to the White House. They gave him this medal for his scholarship. And then he went to Princeton, which is like one of the, I don't know, 3 best schools in the country or something. Depending on what, it might be the best, right? Anyway, he's ridiculously smart. The reason I'm saying this is he could do anything. Geshe Michael could be a politician. He was a businessman. He could be a billionaire. He could be anything he wanted. Like Geshe Michael he can learn something in like a week or something, like hard things. So, but instead, he chose to deal with me, which is not an easy task. I'm kind of an a-hole, okay? And I can't speak for my other Sangha members, but you guys, figure it out, okay? So people like that, they choose to use their talents and their abilities and their love and their understanding of karma and emptiness, their wisdom, to eat poison, which means teaching me, okay? Because it's a pain in the blankety blank. It's worse than having kids, okay? So that's what bodhisattvas do. So, and it said that those poisons are what give the peacocks their beautiful colors. So not only do they eat poison, but that poison becomes the thing that makes them beautiful. Okay, so there's a special karma that comes from putting yourself into hard situations and helping. Like being an essential worker during a plague or something. Basically being a worker that no one cared about, like a janitor who's now literally saving lives just by sanitizing things, and could die any day and could kill their family if they're not careful, right? This is bodhisattva type activity, if it's done with the wish to help all beings by getting enlightened, which is called bodhicitta. That's the peacock thing. It's very famous. Bodhisattvas always want to reach enlightenment as soon as possible. Okay, so this is Lojong class, okay? In logic class, I didn't get to talk about stuff as much because it's all logic. In mind only class, we're all gonna have headaches and I'm not gonna get to talk about anything. So I get to tell you some things. In your practice, basically, you have to, at all times, try to go to the next level. All right? In English, we say you can't sit on your laurels, meaning, I don't know. There's all these stories. If you give someone like the Dalai Lama, or I don't know, Lama Sopo Rinpoche, these high lamas, if you give them something, don't be sad if you see your friend walking around with it the next day, okay? Because as soon as someone who really understands karma and emptiness gets something nice, what is the smartest thing to do with something nice once you get it? What's the best way to keep it?
Repartirlo, compartir.
Yeah, share it. So wait, what's the best way to lose something that you just got that you like?
Lose something, what?
If you don't want to keep something, is someone pointing Nala at me? Who's cat? Oh no, it's a different cat. If you want to lose something you have, what's the best way to lose it?
Grasping.
Who said that?
Me, Víctor.
Víctor, ¿está aquí?
Sí, aquí estoy, señor.
Hola, caballero. Yes, to hold on to it. Okay. How do you say agarrar? Agarrar. Holding it. Okay. Good.
Conservar.
Huh?
Conservarlo.
Conservarlo, like holding it. Yeah, like keeping it. Yeah, okay. Gracias. Okay. So, and it's hard. It's hard to always try to reach for the next level, okay? As bad as my practice is, and it's bad. I yelled at my mom today, I confess. I cursed too. It was ugly. As bad as my practice is, I've attempted throughout my practice. That was my confession, by the way, okay? I probably broke like, I don't know how many vows. Yeah, good. as horrible as my practice is, I do try to push to the next level. And you have to. You have to. Because you're going to die and you don't know when. And you don't know where you're going to be born again. I mean, I don't know, like hippies and stuff think, I don't know, they think they were Cleopatra. Every hippie I know thinks they were Cleopatra and Julius Caesar and like all these great people in their life. I'm like, really? Okay, maybe, I don't know. You were all Cleopatra? All right, I guess, I don't know. Or whatever. Maybe, what do I know? But what are you gonna be in the next life? You don't know if you're gonna be a worm. I'm not wrong with worms. I actually like worms and I have my whole life, but it's hard to take Lojong class as a worm, okay? But it's easy to get eaten by a bird, okay? And then you're just stuck in a cycle for a while until you get spit back up into the human realm where you can cognize things. So you gotta work hard. You gotta push it all the way because you don't know when you're gonna die. It's practical. But don't push yourself so hard that you hurt yourself. That's what I do. Don't do that, okay? I'm not gonna tell you that story. Okay, the best thing you can do for others is to reach total enlightenment very quickly so you will have the ability to help as many other beings as possible. Sorry, that was super fast, Aldo. Yeah. This is what I'm not doing right now. Okay, this is for me. You should embrace any hardship that comes to you. Okay. And turn it into an opportunity for practice. I'm trying, Lord Atisha, God. And they and turn disasters into a wonderful thing to transform into their own enlightenment so they can help others. All right, I'll do it. It doesn't mean that they want to suffer or whatever delay reaching enlightenment. No, it doesn't ever mean that. There's an old Dharma rumor. Okay, there's a couple really bad Dharma rumors. The really bad one is Lord Buddha said all life is suffering. No matter what you do, you suffer. No, all life when you don't know what the blank you're doing is suffering. Yeah. If you're stabbing yourself with a knife all day, yeah, that's suffering. If you don't even know you have a knife and you're stabbing yourself, that's really hard. That's called misunderstanding. Who's poking you with a knife? Where the crown of knives is coming from? Okay, who's your crown of knives? I don't know, Donald Trump or something. No, really. Some point, if you see Donald Trump, okay, for me, I'll just talk about me. I must have been a narcissist. Okay, that's not hard to think. I must have treated people badly. Okay, Aldo can tell you that. I must have been extremely selfish. Okay, I'm still like that. I must have just done things to get attention when instead I should have been helping others. Okay, that's not hard to, if you put it like that, Donald Trump's pretty easy to explain. If you like Donald Trump, then you did a lot of good things, okay? A lot. For instance, but that's the crown of knives. You do something, you think, who cares? And then it becomes a leader of the free world. That's a big problem, for instance. So mental afflictions are always negative things that you should try to avoid. But if you do have a mental affliction, you should use it as an opportunity to escape. All right, good luck. What's better than turning a problem into the path? Aldo can answer.
Not having problems.
Yeah, not having them in the first place. All right, turning problems to the path is annoying. Okay, the path is annoying. This whole thing is annoying. Samsara is the worst. If you understand it at all, you know it's the worst. It's either the worst, or it's about to be the worst, or it's going to be good and you're going to drop dead. And you're going to end up being a seres infernalis. Okay? And you're just like everyone else. You're like every teenager. I'm not gonna die. You know, you're like everyone who ever got a sexually transmitted disease. That'll never happen to me. You're like everyone who ever, everything happens. People are like, no, they always think they're going to be the exception. I don't know. That's got to be like one of the 84,000 mental afflictions. It's really bad. I don't know why people think that. Like all these people with corona, there's 250,000 people in my country with coronavirus. Okay? And the things they're saying is absurd. Like, well, you gotta die anyway. Really? Okay, so let me cut you. Is that okay? Oh wait, no, you don't want to get cut right now? Then why would you want me to have a horrible disease? It makes no sense. How come your logic only pertains to other people? Dude, we'll go when we go. Yeah, of course. I don't want to go now. That's not, especially not at your hand. Yeah, just put the mask on, dude. This is like 101. You want to know about bodhicitta? Bodhicitta right now is wearing a mask. Why? Especially if you're young and healthy, because you're probably not going to die. But who's going to die? Mis abuelos. Mis abuelitos. Right? That's who's going to die. So if you care at all about other people, just be considerate. Anyway. Or not, I don't know. It's your hell. Okay. So the Abhidharma Kosha says all worlds come from karma, and the karma is anytime your mind moves. Yeah, it does say that. Lele jikta natsoke. The beginning of the 4th chapter of the Abhidharma Kosha. I'll tell you again. I think I told you. I'll tell you again though. If you have a decent meditation practice, it doesn't even have to be like perfect, just decent. And you can examine your mind. You can look at your mind and be like, oh, not just your mind while you're meditating, throughout the day. Hey, I'm 30% sad, I'm 30% angry, and I'm 30% cool, right? And the other 10% of the time, something amazing happens, okay? That means, and then your life is 30% angry, 30% happy, 30% cool or whatever I said, and 10% something amazing happens. If you want that to change, be 50% cool, okay? So I'm like 12% cool, okay? So like my life is about 12% cool. The rest of the time I'm getting arguments with my family, okay? They deserve it though. So that's how karma works. It's your mind, it's your world. Even if your world was different from the outside, okay? Now we're going to a lower school of emptiness because you can't handle the highest school. You're still interpreting, this is mind only school. You're still interpreting, it is angry. Someone could come up to you and be like, oh my God, I love you. You could be like, I hate your guts, right? Why are you pissing me off? Right? That happened to me once. What did I say to somebody? I said, what's wrong? Are you okay? And they said I kept fanning the flames of their anger. I'm like, okay. Well, I deserve that. I've been an irritable little blankety blank for my whole life, okay? So if you really understood that, a bodhisattva would never let anger continue because anger would exclude them from paradise and therefore prevent them from being able to help people. Bodhisattvas are sworn to get ecstasy themselves as soon as possible so that they can help others. Okay, do you want ecstasy or do you want Netflix? Who said that? Who said that? Rivas? Okay, good. Yeah, no diamond deals, right?
Yeah, me, Rivas.
Yeah, Rivas is the perfect Geshe Michael student. No diamond deals. Rivas wants ecstasy while he watches Netflix. Okay, good. Yeah, Rivas' Buddha Paradise is gonna have cable. He's gonna have the best Wi-Fi ever. Okay. Distinguishing the how and the why of your suffering. This is extremely important. So last class we talked about, wait, was it on this quiz or the last quiz? It's all one big ball of Lojong for me right now. Shempa Shidrel says, that's the Freedom for the Four Attachments, that talks about not being not having your morality being defined by your culture. And if you try to, there is no moral imperative in science. There's zero moral imperative. Science, what we call the Enlightenment in Europe, was basically science divorcing itself from spirituality. You know, and even philosophy to a degree. You know, if you read these European philosophers like René Descartes and such, they attempt to broach the subject of morality, how to act. But they don't reach any conclusion. There's no definitive conclusion. There's basically two things. Either you have something when you come into this world and it affects how you think, how you are, or you have nothing when you come into this world and you're just completely, whatever impresses upon your mind becomes, you know, your life, how you think, your mind, your personality. What did Lord Buddha say?
Do it because of on karma.
Yeah. Due to the things you did in past lives, you created a type of life in this life, and due to the things you do in this life, it will create future lives. And also the things you did in past lives can still be affecting this life as well. Karma can ripen in 3 times, either in the current life, in the next life, or any other life thereafter. Correct? Okay, just go like this.
Yeah.
Even if you don't agree, okay? Just make me feel better. So the natural reaction, so unfortunately, when your mom starts arguing with you, you tend to argue back. At least I do. Because you forget all about Lojong for a whole day until you start to teach it, which is why you should teach Lojong, by the way. Hopefully you remember it better. I didn't, but you will. And this is the wheel of knives, okay? It turns around and it starts ripping you to shreds. Or the razor pointed boomerang. Hold on. Okay. Keep going, word, keep going. Okay, so the correlations. So in ACI course 5, Geshe Michael gives a list of correlations from Jason Kappa, mainly based upon the 10 misdeeds, right? What are the 10 misdeeds? In order. Can I even do them in order? I don't know.
Protegerla en positivo o negativo, como los quieras.
Negativo, misdeed.
Ok, es no matar,
Sí.
no tomar lo que no te es dado, no robar,
No
no
stealing.
tener mal comportamiento sexual,
Yep.
no mentir, no dividir con mis palabras. No mentir, no dividir con mis palabras. No hablar lenguaje agresivo.
Perfecto. Ujú.
Me falta una de habla.
Sí. Okay. 3 more.
Malicia, envidia y visión incorrecta.
Yay!
Me falta una de habla, ¿cuál es?
What?
Hablar para dividir.
Hablar. Ajá.
No,
Yeah.
pero eso sí lo dije, falta una.
So
No, ese fue el que te dijiste.
killing,
Que dijiste hablar.
killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, divisive speech, harsh speech, and
Hablar por hablar.
what's that?
Idle.
Yeah, idle. Lying, divisive, harsh, and idle speech, and then getting mad when people get what they want, getting happy when people don't get what they want, and misunderstanding in general. Okay? Yes. Okay, so don't do those things. And Jason Coppola gives like 4 correlations for each. So there's about 40 in that course 5, and it's very in-depth. And you should take it. I've done it, and I remember some of that sometimes. Not when it matters, but when it doesn't. So in general, so he gives. So this is an example. This is the 4 flowers if you're a DCI student, okay? The 4 ways karma can flower, right? How do you say in Espanol? Florezca, right? Like emerge.
4 flores.
Huh?
Las 4 flores.
No, not that word. The flat, like florezca, like
Florecer.
yeah, florecer, yeah, like to flower. Yeah, it'll be a habit that you want to do. Like if you become a hitman, you know, then you start enjoying murdering people, okay? Don't become a hitman. It's not as fun as the movies say, okay? You'll be reborn in a lower realm. And then the books always say, like, if you happen to be lucky enough to become a human, meaning usually you just go to hell or something, you will lose people in your relationships to someone else because you have not respected someone else's partner, meaning the same thing will happen to you that you did. And environmentally, your environment will be a mess. Because if you've ever done any sexual misconduct, you know it's a big hot mess. Okay? And it produces hot messes. And if you don't, you can watch a novela. Okay? They're always messy. Okay. And every bad deed has 4 results like that. So this is the difference between the how and the why. How does something like, how does my narcissism, how does my narcissism produced in the world? Okay, as Donald Trump for me, right? Wait, is that my, no. Yeah, wait, messing it up. How does it look when it's produced as a Donald Trump? Why? Because I was narcissistic in the past. So you can't confuse those things. Even if your pen says hecho en Mexico on it, you still have the karma to have it say hecho en Mexico. Even if you go to the maquiladora in Juarez and you say, but lo, there's the factory where my pluma was made. Yeah, you just have the karma to see a factory where your pen was made, right? Because at no time are you ever seeing the whole factory. And so therefore you're only seeing pieces of the factory which you put together as a factory. So your mind is making the factory as a factory. And we say that it comes from the things you did in the past. And so generally, just do the opposite thing, okay? If you're a narcissist, then you have to start teaching Lojong classes. Sorry. And maybe practicing Lojong too, okay? So identifying the real enemy. About 25 pages into the knife. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, this part. Okay, so this is really cool. So basically, Master Dhammarakshita, in the middle of the book, all of a sudden, he's talking about the Wheel of Knives and the correlations. I believe that's the order it goes in. And all of a sudden, he's like, wait a second. This is not even the real problem. He says the real problem, and the author of Seiji's book says something that is revolutionary. So what is usually the main problem in Buddhism? What's the number one mental affliction? What produces all your pain?
El malentendimiento. Sí, malentender de dónde vienen las cosas.
I think I understood what you said. Translate.
Misunderstand.
Rivas, traducir para mí. Misunderstanding. Good, Aldo, Ria. Exacto, misunderstanding. Yes. But in this text, they say, no. The reason that you suffer is not because you grasp to a self. It's because you cherish yourself over others, which is like mind-blowing, because every other book is like, no, grasping to a self. That's called dangzin in Tibetan. Dak means self. Zin means to hold, right? To grasp. But dak chenzin means to cherish yourself over others. And so that's what Master Dhammarakshita says is the real enemy. He's like, lo, I found my real enemy and I will destroy him. I will rip him to shreds. It was me cherishing myself over others. And he instead of getting angry at other people, he instead starts raging on his self-cherishing and going to war with it. And that's what you need to do. And from personal experience, it's horrible, okay? Every fiber of your being will want to do the selfish thing. I mean, if you're me, okay? And it's nearly impossible, I think. I mean, I guess I make a little headway, I give Aldo a couple bucks or something. I'm like, okay, whatever. But I'm not gonna give him all my money. I teach this class, but then if anyone tries to text me or write me or email me, I'm like, why don't you leave me alone? Okay. I write back polite, but that's what I'm thinking. Sorry. So it's just like that, it's like, really. I mean, if you want to start a conversation with anybody, what's the best way to start a conversation with somebody? What's the most engaging topic for every human being?
Ask them about themselves.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to the bar still, and maybe you should with COVID, you want to pick up girls, you say, hey, what do you do? Don't start talking about yourself, dudes, okay? If you do that, that's why you're not getting women, all right? You ask them about themselves, because everybody wants to know. Everybody cares about themselves the most. Okay, if you really want to know what's wrong with the world, that's it. I mean, most of the world's problems could be solved in probably less than a year. I mean, if people just didn't just care about themselves, if they were like, I mean, climate change, we could probably, I mean, it's kind of getting a little far now, but you could shift that in a year. if people just didn't care about themselves and what they have, etc. I mean, Corona. I mean, in countries where they actually care about each other, there's no Corona. New Zealand has like 0 cases. Taiwan has had 7 deaths. Okay. But in countries where people are like, it's all about me, independence, right? Freedom, the freedom to kill each other. 250,000 deaths. Anyway, that's your real enemy. In Dharmarakshita says we should chem sa chem. We should dance on the heads of our enemy, which is death itself. We should be like, hey, take that, death, hey. Literally, that's what the text says in Tibetan. Chem se chem. It means to like if you like what people did when Trump lost the election. Like they were like dancing and just like, yeah, yeah, like all dancing, like take that. I'm not saying it's good, but whatever. That's what it's like. You want to dance on the head of your enemy, but your enemy is your inability to think about others over yourself. Okay, how is karma carried in the mind stream? I feel like Geshe talks about this in some part of like every course. I guess it's really important. I mean, it is how our world is created, after all. The way the karma is, somebody tell me, using the 2 husbands, why does the husband yell at us when we come home? Tráfico? Porque él es, porque tiene hambre? Marta says no. ¿Por qué?
Porque le grité a los niños la semana pasada.
Los niños? What do niños have to do with your husband yelling at him? That doesn't make any sense. Explain.
Pues porque la semana pasada tuve el acto de gritarle a mis hijos, y cuando llegué, después de una semana, a querer que mi esposo me abrazara, obviamente me dijo que yo era una estúpida.
No abrazo para mí. Sin abrazos, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You see yourself doing the thing. Like I saw myself yelling at my mom today. And then I'm like, oh God, what the hell did I do? Who's gonna scream at me now? I'm just gonna keep confessing, okay? Sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry. Karma emptiness, karma emptiness, karma emptiness. Buddha help me, Buddha help me, Buddha help me. Yeah, because you saw yourself screaming at your mom, then your annoying boyfriend one day out of nowhere is like, I don't even like you. Blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh my God, why are you yelling at me? Then you get upset and say something bad to him. And korwa kor, korwa kor, korwa kor. The cycle spins. El circulo? The circle circles? I don't know how to say circles. Circulando? Is that a word in Spanish? Maybe. You get it. Okay.
Sufrimiento.
Huh?
Círculo de sufrimiento.
No.
Ciclo de sufrimiento.
Circling. El verbo. ¿Cómo se dice?
¿Circulan o circulando?
Yeah, I was right. Circulando. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, it just keeps going. That's all. Self-perpetuating cycle. Literally, self-perpetuating cycle, right? Yeah, Gerando is good. But circulando is better because the Tibetan is korwa kor. So it's the same word. The korwa kors. So the circulo, circulando, right? Because of course it's circulandos. It's a circle. That's what they do. Anyway, yeah, for that reason, bad stuff happens to you. And where is it kept? In your mind stream for billions of years. Okay, hopefully, if I go apologize after class, my karma is going to be better with my mom. Okay. And it's because the wheel of knives is turned on me again. Yeah. because of you and your self-cherishing. I mean, you guys are all tantric deities. You just come to my class so I can get enlightened, I know. But if you're anything like me, okay, so, yeah, the way to get rid of your emotional pain is to practice Tonglen. So all the principles are the same, okay? Every Lojong is the same pretty much. You see the world wrong, you cherish yourself, you hurt others, bad things happen to you, you don't know where it comes from, you do more bad stuff. So you should, if you want to be a Dharma practitioner, you should understand that it's a suffering world of that nature, right? And then you wouldn't want to stay in the three realms. And you wouldn't want to do things for yourself. And you wouldn't want to grasp with things. What's that? It's called Freedom for the Four Attachments. You ever heard of it? Anyway, it's the Lojong we just studied. Okay. I love that Lojong because it's 4 lines and it's like the whole Dharma practice in 4 lines. Of course you need explanation because otherwise, you know, it says not to grasp the things. You're like, I'm not allowed to hold on to my remote? Like, I don't understand. No, it's not that. It's the self grasping to the nature of things as being things from their own side as they appear without your karma, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Secondly, the reason you suffer at work from a bossy manager is because in the past you have been arrogant to those lower than you. Okay, I'm doing okay. My boss is Nick. He's really nice. My bosses are Nick Lashaw, Lama John Brady, and Geshe Michael Roach. So I'm doing okay, all right, in this department. Other places, not so good, but I did something good because they're all awesome. But if your boss is annoying, oh yeah, I know Aldo knows. What's the karma to not have annoying bosses or not to have a boss at all? I know Aldo knows. Does anybody know?
Do your job.
No.
No ser un jefe que desesperas.
I don't know what she said.
Ser amable y
Not to be okay.
subordinados a nosotros mismos.
Repite, porfa. Did anybody get that? I didn't get it. Okay, I'll tell you. Anyway, it's being happy when you do stuff. Joyful effort. Okay? And I'm pretty good at that, actually. If there's no one around, I'm really happy. So no one knows how happy I am because when someone comes close, I'm like, okay? That's why I stay in my room alone so much, working on dictionaries and stuff. And the karma from staying in your room alone, happily working on a dictionary is Nick only emails me like once a month or something. So I'm on my way. Anyway, thirdly, the reason you're forced to hear unpleasant speech from others is that you have said bad things to others in the past. Yeah, the antidote is to be nice to people. Okay, I'm working on that. Sorry for all the people I made fun of, except Aldo. I meant it. Fourthly, the reason you see things as something unpleasant is because you have seen your world as something less than totally pure in the past. Okay, for those who have not taken secret vows, in the Bodhisattva vows, at the end of the Bodhisattva vows, there's the white deeds and the black deeds. If you want to study Tantra really fast or become enlightened really fast, I mean, do all of the Bodhisattva vows, of course, all 64 of them. But the black and white deeds are amazing. And one of them is about seeing your world as pure. So there it is. And that's all that Tantra really is, okay? suture are the same thing, okay? If you're not good at suture, you're not gonna be good at tantra, okay? It's gonna be bad. All right. How to fix the Wheel of Knives. You can use this class's reading to identify the karmic causes. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go over the correlations you create in the past that are screwing up your life right now. Then you can fix your problems. Yeah, this is the whole, I mean, I'm pretty convinced Galupa Buddhism, especially Jason Kappa's teaching, there's just 3 teachings: karma, emptiness, bodhicitta. That's it. Everything else is just fun details, okay? But if you got those 3 down and you can pass those on to somebody, either through speech or through your actions, you're good. All these other things are things to help you achieve those 3. Okay? And if you understand karma and emptiness, then you've taken refuge. Okay, and so what's that? Refuge, bodhicitta, and correct view.
3 principal paths.
Yay! It's actually renunciation, not refuge, but yes, perfect. Somebody remembered course 1. Who's that, Leah?
Diego.
Okay, whoever said it. Yeah, it was course 1. Yay! Good job. That's the course. Geshe Michael taught course 1 on purpose as course 1 because everything is in course 1. So if everyone died after course 1, then they would have had all the teachings. It wasn't an accident. Okay, that's exactly what he told us when we did the ACI 1 course teacher training at Diamond Mountain. Okay, so if you're going to teach a course, teach course 1. Right? It's only 14 verses of a poem by Jason Kappa. Okay, so how to fix the Wheel of Knives? Stop doing dumb stuff. That's pretty much it. And for all the dumb stuff that you did, you have to do the 4 powers. That is purifying your past deeds. What is the main thing that stops your bad deeds of the 4 powers?
Pensar en karma y vacuidad.
Nope. I mean, yeah, it's always a thing, but even if you think about the pen and still do this, you're still gonna have a problem. Nope. Not regret either. Yeah. Yeah, Aldo got it, but it's not promising not to do it again. It's not doing it again. Okay? People make all kinds of promises if you hadn't noticed. Yeah, not doing it again. It's the 3rd power. I mean, the powers are basically think of karma and emptiness, have regret for the thing you did, like, oh, I shouldn't have yelled at my mom. My next girlfriend's just gonna scream at me. That's not gonna be fun. And then stop screaming at your mom, and then do something to make up for it. Like, first of all, apologize, duh. And then second of all, study Lojong better, especially if you're the teacher. Okay, yay. Here we are. Let's start with the correlations. I think there's 38 of them, but maybe I'm wrong. This only goes to the letter S, which by definition couldn't be 38. What number of the alphabet is S? Z, Y, X, W, Z, T, Q, T, P. Oh, that one. Yeah, 8 minus 16. Okay. All right, here we go. According to the text, each unpleasant thing in our or event that appears to us a result of what goes around comes around. The thing we have done to others are returning back to us like a wheel of knives. In the blank next to each of the problems, write the letter of the real cause that the text says brought it about. Okay? All right. This is like matching. Can we do this? Let's see. We'll guess. Okay, we'll try. Those who are supposed to help me hurt me instead. Why did that happen to you? Here are most of the answers. Just guess. We're just gonna have fun, and then we're gonna end class. We're just gonna eat dinner. Listen, make it easy for yourself. Those who are, even if you don't know the correlation, just always make it easy. Why does Aldo keep making fun of me? I keep making fun of Aldo. Those who are supposed to hurt me, hurt me instead. Those that I was supposed to help, I hurt instead, right? Just make it easy. I mean, that's basically why, but it gets more specific. This one's E. I failed to keep my mind on goodness in the past. Okay, keep your mind on goodness. Okay, I find myself getting sick a lot. What does Jason Coppa say makes you sick in course 5?
Hurting other people.
Yeah, specifically how, Leah?
Well, I see I did harm to the bodies of other people in the past.
I like that one. Yeah, let's see. Boom!
Yes.
Leah, killing the game. Okay, Leah, okay. Okay. I have different kinds of mental suffering. Yeah. Aldo just saw the answer that I accidentally flashed. See, I knew it. You little trickster. Yeah, I upset other people in the past. Okay, let me tell you something. When I was a little boy, I thrived off of upsetting people. Like, I knew I was upsetting them. I did it on purpose, and I would just mess with people. By the time I was a teenager, my mind was destroyed. I was so irritable all the time. You couldn't say anything to me. I would just be like a mess. And like after studying Lojong, I was like, oh my God, for the first 12 years of my life, I just pissed people off. And then for the next like 10 or whatever, until my early 20s, I was just like a ball of irritation, you know? And for me, that was enough proof. So anyway, there it is. People around me are bossy. Yeah, like you go to move into Aldo's house and he's always trying to tell you what to do. How can I stop that? I don't know. Maybe it's down here. I don't know. Sorry. I mean, isn't it some kind of arrogance? Let me see.
I saw anger down lower.
Let me see. Where'd you saw anger?
Yeah.
Q?
Q.
All right, we'll go with Q. Wait, sorry. B, it's B. Oh yeah, it's the arrogance, like we talked about. I was arrogant towards those less than me in the past, which is annoying. That's like the worst. If you have like a boss that like won't. And I remember watching this as a kid, like, you know, you have a friend, he's kind of cool. And then as soon as he gets any power, all of a sudden he's a complete blankety blank. You're like, and I'm talking about like, you're playing dodgeball and he's like the captain of the dodgeball team in gym class one day. And all of a sudden he's treating you like blank. Nobody likes that. It's horrible. And it's much worse if it, your like livelihood depends on it, you know? I mean, yeah, think about, I mean, like horrible things like slavery or something. Slightly less horrible, like working at like McDonald's or something, you know? Slightly less horrible, working in corporate America, you know? Slightly less horrible, like, I don't know, working for yourself, but feeling like you have to pay the government all your money or something, you know? Don't be arrogant. Okay, people say unpleasant things to me. Someone has a guess. Okay, Aldo. Aldo Ria says K. In the past, I said bad things about spiritual people. Maybe. Am I doing that in class? Sorry if I am. I'm trying not to. I only say bad things about Aldo, and he's not spiritual. No, I'm joking. He's one of the most spiritual people I know. Maybe it's K. Let's see. A. I engaged in divisive talk in the past. That makes sense. Like if you gossip and stuff, you're like, oh my God, did you hear about Kelly McGee? Oh my God, Kelly McGee. Kelly McGee. I don't have anything bad to say about Kelly McGee. I can't even make up something, but that kind of thing. Okay. Unpleasant things often happen around me. I hinder the work of holy beings. That's not going to be good. Maybe that. Maybe H. Maybe O. Maybe P. M. I failed to think of my world and the people in it as special and holy in the past. Okay, cool. Like that, okay? Let's just go over all of them now because otherwise we're going to run out of time. So if you don't want trouble finding friends, other people to help yourself, then you shouldn't split up other people who were close to each other, okay? If you don't want people to act in an intimidating way to me, which means not coming to Philadelphia anymore, I'm sorry. In the past, don't say bad things about spiritual people. If you don't want to feel depressed a lot, then don't encourage other people to do bad deeds, which I used to do all the time. And I was depressed. So I don't know, maybe Lord Buddha knows something. If whatever I try to do never seems to work out, you shouldn't hinder the work of holy beings in the past. Have you ever met anyone like this? Like no matter what they do, no matter how things just fizzle. And then the opposite, you meet people who are like, they don't seem to know what they're doing. They're not prepared and they just go for it. They just try. And then like amazing things happen. And then you can be both. You can be a Geshe Michael who has all the talent and amazing things happen, okay? So to say that, to be Geshe Michael or someone like that, Siddhartha, who gets everything accomplished, you would help the work of holy beings, which is all Geshe Michael does, right? He creates holy beings, right? But yeah, I mean, he lived in a monastery for 25 years where he supported who's arguably the highest scholar of Tibetan Buddhism in the world to teach many people, and those people went on to teach other people, and then he went on himself, Holy Geshe Michael, to teach many people who then went on to teach many people, right? Okay, so if you want things to work out, donate to the 3 Jewels in New York. Okay, no matter what I do, my Lama never seems to be pleased, okay? In the past, I was insincere and hypocritical in my Dharma practice. Okay, I'll tell you a story. I'm just keep telling stories because next class it's going to be a headache. So I've been working on this dictionary for 6 years. Do you guys want to look at it? It's a thing to behold. Okay, let's look at the dictionary. Yay! Where am I? I'm in I'm in Nya, which is amazing right now. Okay. So I'm putting the English in the dictionary now, which is amazing. So it's a Tibetan Chinese dictionary. It's like this, look. It's just an insane amount of data that I've been staring at for 6 years. But it's really fun for me because I'm that kind of nerd. So, so I haven't had a meeting with Geshe about this dictionary in like 5 years. Okay, he was like, do this thing. And I was like, yes, Lama. And he's like, okay. And I just told him like 2 weeks ago, I'm like, I'm done that thing you told me to do. He's like, that's amazing. And he's like, he's very happy. And I'm happy he's happy. But I mean, is he really happy because of this dictionary? I mean, it is awesome. It did take a ridiculous amount of work. But he could just have easily been like, that's stupid, you know? Like, not that he says that sort of thing, but you know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of how bad a person I am, I must say that I am sincere about my Dharma practice. So there it is, okay? The Lama's happy because I was not a hypocrite. I'm not a hypocrite. I'll give myself that much. Okay. People seem to criticize everything I do. In the past, I displayed a lack of personal conscience and consideration of what others would think of my actions. Okay. That is extremely common in the world. And now we have things like social media. I mean, before, think about it. I don't know. I grew up in the 80s. All these celebrities and something, there was no way to contact a celebrity unless you knew them. But now, everyone's on Twitter. You can criticize whoever you want. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, so everyone's under this incredible amount of scrutiny. And like, I don't know, if you're like a politician or something, I mean, people rip each other. I mean, it's bad. They get roasted. So be careful. You don't want that to happen to you. Okay, people around me can't seem to get along with each other. That's not fun. I wish bad things on others and split people into sides. Okay. I have the opposite problem. Everyone around me gets along with each other, but I don't get along with them. What's the karma for that? I must not have split people into sides, but I did something divisive or something like that. So I get divided. Oh well. When I hang out in Guadalajara, they all have parties and like go dancing and like, woo! And I'm like, I'm staying home. So don't be like me, okay? Okay. I have had or have some very serious health problems. F, I misuse resources dedicated to Dharma. Okay. I didn't do that. And I don't have serious health problems. Thank you. I tend to get serious headaches or pains in my body. Oh wait, I do get some pains in my body. Oh, I didn't keep my spiritual promises and pledges in the past. Wow, I'm not keeping my spiritual promises and pledges. Lord Buddha was right. Okay, P, I often feel anxiety or worry. In the past, I did wrong deeds against angels and secret teachings. Ooh, okay. I don't have much worry or anxiety. This is how I think. I read lists like this, and I'm just like, okay, what am I doing? What am I not doing? And then you can just make a list. All the things that are bad in your life, just make a list, and you can turn that into your 6 times book. If you don't know what a 6 times book is, 6 times a day, you check all the things you're doing, both good and bad, to create the world you want. If you do something bad, you do a correction for it. And if you do something good, you rejoice for it. And that second part is very important. I think it's very easy for people in our Judeo-Christian, based cultures to feel guilt for bad things they do, and then feel like they're not allowed to be happy about the good things they do because it's pride or something. All right. So you just have to be like, no, I taught that Lojong class tonight. I'm the one who did it. I'm happy about that. And I should be, because people learned and they got their ACI homework done, especially before you go to sleep at night. Right, Rivas? Is he there still? Oh, he left. Snuck off middle class, eh? Okay. All right. Rivas is our Tartuk master. He's probably having fun. So
I'm here.
Oh.
I'm in the hospital with my dad, so the internet is pretty bad.
Oh my God. I said he left and he's like doing the most holy thing possible.
But I'm having fun though.
And he's having fun. Rivas. maybe you should teach the class, Rivas. Yeah, no, Rivas is really good at Tartuking. If you don't know how to Tartuk, ask him. He's a good translator too, so in English or Spanish. Okay, next. I don't have enough money. R. In the past, I failed to give things to others and to make offerings to the triple gem. Okay, so I used to not have enough money all the time, no matter how hard I worked. Okay, now I do have enough money. And I was very specific. I'm like, I do not want to be poor anymore. And I gave offerings, you know? I gave offerings to people who needed it, and I gave offerings to Geshe Michael, who doesn't need it, but who's a holy being, you know? And when I could donate to Diamond Mountain or whatever it is that works for you, the amount that works for you, even if it's a small amount, it's better to do a small amount that feels good than to do a large amount that you'll regret later. So just give 20 bucks next time you go to Diamond Mountain, whenever we're allowed to travel again or whatever, you know, or send it. There's in Mexico, you have Club de Oro, okay, run by the magnificent Pau Garcia Franco, and you can give to ACIP, which is basically giving to me because that's who I work for. But you could, but there's many other things. You could also give to other charities or people outside the Sangha, whatever works. Okay, but just give. It's the first perfection. I don't look very good physically, okay? Q. In the past, I was an angry person and didn't make holy images with the proper care, okay? I like my beard right now, so I guess I haven't been that angry, okay? Holy images, I don't know about that. I'm not much of an artist in that way. Okay, and then, is there more? Oh, uh-oh. S. I have trouble keeping my spiritual practice regularly and alertly. In the past, I behaved properly towards the Dharma. Okay, I'm pretty good at that. So I behaved okay, I guess. Okay, we only have 3 minutes left. Did I cover everything? Name the person who wrote the Lojong. Okay, it's Dhammarakshita presented to Lord Atisha. We did that. Give a description of a wheel of knives as found, for example, in the teaching by Master Murchu Dharmabhadra, who is a very famous Lama in our lineage. So it literally is a wheel, like a wheel, and it has like little blades on it. I actually have a picture of it somewhere from Indonesia, but I don't know if I can find it that fast. Let me look, okay? I thought about it before class, but then. Yeah, I don't know where it is. Yeah, I'm not gonna find it fast enough. Anyway, it's kind of like a halo and it has like spinning blades in it or something like that. So that's what it looks like. Yay. 3, text of the Wheel of Knives describes how bodhisattvas in the vicious circle of life are like peacocks who actually find poisonous plants more nutritious. Okay, we did all this. It just means go to the barrio to help people if you feel up to it, and that will become goodness, the highest bliss. All right. What state of mind is described as the henchman of the devil? This is grasping to yourself. This is the thing we're fighting in every lojong. You know, And it doesn't mean to have low self-esteem, please. Okay? Don't do that. Low self-esteem is not going to help anyone. Master Shantideva specifically says not to have low self-esteem. He said, have high self-esteem. Why? Because you were born human. And if you're born human, you did something good. And if you did something good to be born human, you could also become enlightened. This is the best position to become enlightened, especially if all you have to do is sit at home and listen to my mouth say things 3 times a week. So it's not low self-esteem. It's thinking of your world in such a way where you understand that the people around you are your vehicle to get enlightened. So you do the best you can to help them to your capacity with the view of karma and emptiness in mind and the understanding that what you do will get you enlightened faster. All right? Okay, last 2. Suppose that we identify the kind of karma from our past that is bringing us to the worst problem in our mind or in life in general. Are we necessarily doing that same kind of karma now? And what can we do about it? Okay, no, you're not necessarily doing it now. When you walk into a forest of grown trees, you're not going to find the seeds of those trees. So your life is like a forest of seeds that were planted maybe eons ago. Okay, so therefore, even though you're not doing those things now, they're still ripening now as your world. So you can still do the antidotes, things like the 4 powers, which, as I'll review very quickly, is thinking of karma and emptiness, taking refuge via thinking karma and emptiness, having intelligent regret for doing the thing that's hurting you, promising not to do that thing for a set amount of time, that actually you won't do that thing for that amount of time, and then doing an antidote, of which there's 6 classical antidotes: thinking of karma and emptiness, studying scriptures, doing mantras or saying the names of holy beings, making beautiful pictures of holy beings, and yeah, recitation, study and recitation are 2 different ones, I believe. I believe those are 6. Or just apologize. Okay. 7, suppose we like another person but can't be close to them because of some third person who's always close to them. Discuss the difference between how versus why in the situation and the apparent solution versus the real solution. Okay, so this is a practical question about how to use a lojong. The how in the situations that the person doesn't physically give us a chance to be near the person we want to be near to. Okay, that's how it's presenting. But the reason why this is happening in the first place is that we in the past didn't let someone get near someone they want to be close to. Karma. The apparent solution to the problem is try to get rid of the other person somehow, right? Assassination, talk bad about them, misdirect them somehow. Which will always backfire, cause the wheel of knives to turn back on us again, right? And then the real solution is to make very sure that we have no negative feelings toward the person and that we be very careful to see that other people can be near the people they want to be near. Yay! ¿Preguntas? All right. Aldo says no question. Yeah, lojong is the culmination of everything we did in all the other classes. It's karma and emptiness and bodhicitta, like how to actually use it. So there it is, the holy dharma as presented by the unholy word. Okay, let's do this mandala. What does mandala mean?
Perfect
Mundo
world.
perfecto.
Why do we do a mandala in the beginning?
like to
Para
what
ofrecer
is
un mundo
the word?
perfecto.
Mhm.
Like offering.
Yeah,
To
it's
bribe.
a bribe. It's a bribe. You're bribing me to teach the class. And then why do we do on the one at the beginning? I mean at the end.
To offer the karma.
No, that's my payoff. First you bribe me and then you got to pay me off. Okay? I'm not joking. That's the tradition. Okay? This is my only payment. But the real thing is to practice. Do lojong. Hang out with your father at the hospital, okay? Please. I'm just saying words. If you want the real teaching, go ask Rivas or Aldo or something. Who's gonna do this thing? Kelly McGee.
Okay.
Porfa, please.
Sashi, Puki, Jushi, Meto, Ra, Rira, Bunshi, Nyande, Sange, Nikte, Uargi, Jokun, Namdak, Shingla, Trupar, Sho, Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niryatayami. Kewa di keukun. Sunam yeshe sok shing. Sunam yeshe lejum wei. Tampa kuni topar sho.
Show. All right, you're all awesome.
Thank you, Word.
De nada.
Gracias, Ward. Gracias, Aldo.
Thank you, Word.
Thanks, Aldo. Thanks for
Thank you so
taking
much,
my
Ward.
abuse.
Buenas noches.
Gracias,
Good
Ward.
evening, everybody.
Okay. Hasta viernes.
Gracias, Aldo. Gracias. Palabra.
Sí, carnal.
Gracias.